Previously on Let's Play Steins Gate Zero.
And from what she said, they didn't look like your ordinary arsonist. What does your ordinary arsonist look like? I mean, like, I don't know. Japan and like the US are pretty different, but I'm pretty sure they don't just go around seeing what arsonists look like on an everyday basis.
And now, back to everyone being sad.
Hello, everybody. Pokey here with another episode of Steins Gate Zero. And I'm excited to get back into this. What happened last time? Okay, so Okabe, he went to meet with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, and he said he didn't want to participate in the experiment anymore. I was gonna pull up my phone, but I can't seem to do that at this moment. But then they said they were just gonna leave Kurisu in, and there was some talk about some, you're not your everyday arsonists. Let's just get right into this. The station wagon stopped in front of us, and there was a short bark from the horn. Associate Professor Izaki came out from the driver's side. While I was eating with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, he called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he'd offered to drive us home. Dr. Leskinen had tried to refuse, but I feel like I'm getting confused here. They're talking about two different characters. Associate Professor Izaki. I forget who Izaki is. I feel like I should know that. My cats are just screaming their ears out. Oh my goodness. What's up? Calm down. Okay. Calm down. Okay. Well, Dr. Leskinen tried to refuse, but Izaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. This was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. Some people said his family was rich, and others that he had the wife of some CEO as a patron. He'd once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and spent all his money on his car. But who even knew if that was true? Izaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear door and escorting Dr. Leskinen and Maho. Dr. Leskinen thanked him and got inside. Maho went around to the back to load up their luggage. I guess this guy's not important to have a picture. Not bad, Okabe. Looks like you've won over Dr. Leskinen. He grinned and poked me with his elbow. Don't poke the pokey. You better not lose this connection, for your future's sake. Right. He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor, he seemed kind of shallow. It was one of the unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? About the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window on the front passenger side. Izaki screamed and fell back on his butt. The rear window exploded. Oh, what? Yeah! What the heck is going on? Is it a CERN attack? I panicked. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? I was too confused to move. And then in the corner of my vision... Hey, cat, calm down. Somebody's attacking this car. Calm down. Oh my goodness. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw someone. Oh man. A man I didn't know appeared out of the shadow of one of the pillars. He was holding something strange in his hand. It looked kind of like a handgun. Yeah, I looked closer to see if I could tell what it is, but that just looks like a normal gun. It was tiny with a short barrel and kind of flat. I couldn't see any kind of silencer. Who's that? I remembered him from somewhere. I felt like we'd met before. Where? I thought, but nothing came to me immediately. Wait, I don't remember myself, but could this possibly be one of the members of CERN that attacked with Moeka? The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. What? If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. Wait, that does sound familiar. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the valley of Hinnom. There was an aura of intensity and madness about the man as he pointed his gun at us again. The souls God granted dwell within us. The children of God, they will never dwell without silicon. Oh, ah! Izaki stood up, turned around, and fled in terror like a startled rabbit. That sound again. It was so soft and light. I couldn't even imagine that it was a gunshot. But this time, the car's windows didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Izaki? But you won't be that... Oh my gosh, look at Maho's face. What? I'm not sure whether to be scared or why? Wow, that is the funniest thing. But you won't be that lucky again. Move! I pushed Maho into the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully, the engine was still running. I slammed down on the pedal without even bothering to shut the door. The sound of a powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched at the incredible noise and vibration, but the car didn't move forward. It didn't move an inch. Shift! You need to put it in drive! Dr. Luskin and Maho were keeping their heads low in the back seat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. I took my foot off the accelerator. I glanced over at the gear shift. It was stuck next to the end. What am I supposed to do? You have a license? No! What? And then, through the windshield, I saw the attacker ready his gun again. He was aiming at me. The look in his eyes told me he was ready to kill without hesitation. A soul will not dwell within silicon. Crap! Cracks like a spiderweb appeared in the windshield. Something went past the side of my head. This guy's a bad shot. Oh, never mind. I felt a sharp pain, and at the same time a ringing in my ears, and all the other sounds faded away and started to disappear. I felt myself passing out. And then Maho jumped over the seat and slid into the passenger side. Close the door, now! My mind was pulled back to reality. I slammed the door shut just as she told me. Maho shifted from neutral to drive and leaned over on top of me to grab the wheel. Whoa. Floor it! I slammed the accelerator so hard that for a moment the wheels were almost spinning in place. Then the car leapt forward. The attacker was getting closer. We were going to hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when... Leave it! Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did what she said. but there was no impact. Evidently, the attacker had leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. But there was no time to confirm it as the car raced through the parking garage. We were going too fast, and since Maho was controlling the car from the passenger side, she couldn't keep it going in a straight line. Ah, jeez. The car spun to the left and right, and I was almost flung out the broken window. I grabbed onto the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed for the exit, slamming into walls and pillars as we went. Who is that guy? No idea. Wow, these are some pretty intense shots. Look at this. This is so cool. Right, go right. I could see an exit sign right in front of us. I can't turn fast enough. I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Maho's, turning the wheel to the right. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tires slipped. The car spun in a circle. Oh, jeez. And then it came to a stop. Are you okay? Yeah, what about the professor? I looked back and saw Dr. Leskinen lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up sign. Let me take over. Right. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat. But then I saw an old, creaky sedan rumbling towards us and shivered. It was the man from a moment ago. He was following us and moving really fast. Get out! He's going to ram us! This door, it won't open! Had it broken when we slammed into the wall? I grabbed Maho out of the passenger seat and rolled outside. Dr. Leskinen rolled out the rear door. This is why I'm afraid of cars. It was less than a second afterward that the sedan hit. If we'd been even just a little too slow, we would have been turned into mincemeat. Ella, calm down. Jeez. Stood up and offered Maho a hand, then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. You okay? Thanks. Cat, no! No, my cat just jumped right onto the table. Okay, I'm back. Thanks. Jeez. Both cars were smashed together. The attacker's sedan was completely embedded into the rear half of the car we'd been driving. There was no way he could have survived. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he'd slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I'd almost been killed. Anyway, I need to contact the cops. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. Excuse me, please call the police. The security guard noticed and contacted the police. Ow, it hurts. I could feel a pulsing ache on the side of my head. A shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. I fearfully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple down my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertips had turned bright red. Great. Great. I almost saw Mayuri when she was shot in the head. I almost saw Kurisu when I killed her. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back to me, and I struggled to stay standing. You're covered... I mean, what? I just said you're not covered in blood. You're covered in blood. Did you get hit? Maho went pale. Is this a bad place to get hit? There's something called the superficial temporal artery there. Let me see it. I'm going to touch you a little. Dr. Leskinen looked at the wound. When he touched me, I felt more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure it. It's okay. You're not that badly hurt. I'm glad. Use this. Oh my goodness, cats, quiet down. Please. Oh, shh. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Thanks. I put the handkerchief he offered to me up to my temple. The guy who attacked us, he was the one at the seminar. Really? You don't remember? That was the guy you yelled at. Oh. That's right. It sounded like he was insulting Kurisu, so I shouted objection at him. That was the guy. Was this his way of getting back at me? Not a chance. Definitely, sir. Definitely. The souls God granted dwell within us, the children of God. They will never dwell within silicon. Is that silicon or silicone? I feel like it's silicon. Huh? What's that? He was saying that before he fired the gun. Was he talking about Amadeus? I don't know. Oh yeah, that could be it. I could faintly hear police car sirens in the distance. The hotel security guards and staff were starting to gather. Hey, how do we explain this? We tell them exactly what happened. I mean, we don't exactly know either. And then Maho's eyes went wide. She, Dr. Luskinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked too, and almost screamed. Am I ready to press the A button? No, but I'll do it anyways. Woe to the world, such things must come. Woe to the person through whom they come. The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan covered in blood. And then he staggered to his feet. He looked like a zombie. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off in impossible directions. I could see what looked like bones sticking out from them. Ew! His stomach was torn open, and each time he crawled forward, I could see major organs covered in blood falling out of the hole. Ew, ew, ew. But he moved toward us as if he felt no pain at all. It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed the gun towards Dr. Luskinen. He must have been on the verge of death because his arm was flailing around too much to aim, but Dr. Luskinen's expression was pure terror, and he seemed unable to move. Blasphemy. Soul. Woe. Professor, run! A shot rang out. Ugh, fresh blood flew out of the man's head, and his body was blown away as if it had been hit by a truck. He fell to the ground, still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream. What? The attacker had been shot? Did he shoot himself? No, that gunshot was clearly different from the last ones. Who's there? Who just fired? I looked around. I could see several policemen coming from the entrance, but none of them had their guns drawn. And the crowd was nothing but security and hotel staff. I couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. So who had fired? Where had they fired from? And the way they took the attacker's head off with a single shot. Not just anyone could do that. CERN. What is going on? Of course, no one told me. Afterward, the police took us into custody. We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Luskinen and Maho were having the police take them back to their hotel in Wako, so we split up in front of the police station. We never did find out why the man had attacked us. Oh, now where's Suzuha? I can play for a little bit longer. She felt dizzy. That's strange, Suzuha thought. She stopped moving. Since she was in the middle of the sidewalk, the other pedestrians looked irritated as they moved around her. Oh, wow. She is dizzy. That's crazy. That's kinda... I can't look at that for too long. It's kinda hurting my eyes a little. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. Was she hallucinating? Or was the whole world starting to get blurry? All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt very far away. It was like she was driving underwater. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Ocarin had talked about? Was she starting to acquire it too? And then she realized how warm she felt. Truth hit her. Am I sick? She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. Here's the cheerful music. It seemed she was worse off than she thought. If she could have, she would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterward, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. But this was the first time something like this had happened since she became a time traveler. This is bad. She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know her dad was there. She walked up the stairs. The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes, and then she tripped. Ah! She fell forward. That hurt. Suzuha? Itaru was in the room. He saw her and ran over. You okay? Yeah. She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Itaru's arms. What's wrong? Sorry, I'm feeling a little dizzy. Huh? Are you not feeling well, Suzu? Are you alright? When she heard those voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room. She let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned by Suzuha's obvious uneasiness. She walked over with a serious expression on her face. Suzuha, let me see your forehead. That was actually a little bit creepy. I mean, I'm sort of on edge after everything we just went through. And my cats are still freaking out over there. Yuki brushed her bangs aside, and why did I start saying that in the Mayuri voice? Yuki brushed her bangs aside, and her own forehead up to against Suzuha's. Suzuha's heart started pounding. She had distant memories of her mother doing this before. You've got a terrible fever. What? Daru put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well. Oh, you're right. Do you have a cold? I'm fine. This'll get better fast. Hey, don't push yourself. You need to go lie down right now. Duh. That's right. I know that. I'm going to just rest for a bit. Or, Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa. She collapsed on top of it and closed her eyes. Calm down, she told herself. Mayushi will bring a wet towel, okay? Hashida, where's Suzuha's change of clothes? It's here. It's all inside this. Oh, of course, don't rummage through it and go sniff sniff, you know? If you don't stop being stupid, I'll infect you with my cold virus, brother. Imagine Suzuha just slipped up and just called her father. I wouldn't put it past her. Suzuha's kind of been screwing up with keeping secrets. Just being honest. Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained. Can I just pick something out to change her into? Thanks, I can't do it, obviously. Yeah. As she listened to the conversation going on around her, Suzuha felt a cold towel on her forehead. How do you feel? Wait. Those sort of weird two lines in order. Sorry, big sis Mayu. Wait, I knew it. I was like, why would Mayuri say that? And Mayuri say that again. I knew something was up, but in a split second I had to consider it. I was like, no, nothing's wrong. I'm weird. Sorry, big sis Mayu. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go buy some cold medicine. You guys take care of her. Okay. Bye. Can you stand up, Suzuha? I at least want to get you changed before your brother gets back. There's the silly music again. The super silly music. Okay. Suzu opened her eyes. Yuki was standing over her and looking down. No, I'm fine like this. This is how I've always done it. In fact, before Suzuha became a time traveler, there were many times where she'd been unable to rest even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this was a lot nicer. No way! The most important part of a cold is when you just start to get it. When you just start to get it. But, no buts, take your clothes off. Yuki was a little more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzuha's clothes off. Suzuha jumped up, surprised. Fine, I'll do it. I can do it myself. You're soaked with sweat. Mayuri, do you have any dry towels? Oh, yeah, here. I'm kind of struggling with getting Suzuha a unique voice. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to go with, like, sort of a tomboyish kind of voice, because I don't want it to be as sort of sweet as the normal voice I sort of do, which is like, when I'm trying to do a girl's voice, I usually default to the kind of voice I give Kurisu. So it's kind of hard for me to figure out how to fit Suzuha into this. Oh, I'll just keep trying. Yuki took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off of Suzuha's forehead and neck. Oh wow! that tickles! Just stay still. You're not a little kid. But, argh! Suzuha shook as she was rubbed with a towel. She wasn't used to being touched, and this was the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her. That's enough, I'll do it myself. You don't need to worry about it. I'm not worried. Suzuha grabbed the towel from Yuki, trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two. She took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she was finding it difficult to think straight. Is this okay? Yes, good job. Now change into this. She grabbed the new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki. Still trying to hide herself, she put them on. When she lay back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her. Mayuri, you said this room doesn't have a washer, right? Yeah, it's always been such a problem. Mayushi will take these to the laundromat later, okay? Huh? You don't have to do that. We've got to take care of each other. What did I even do there? We've got to take care of each other at times like these. That's right, Suzu. Are you hungry? Think you can eat anything? Suzuo looked at Yuki, then Mayuri, and was about to mumble another refusal, but in the end she gave up and pulled the blanket up to her nose. This was really hard. I'm not that hungry. But you need to eat something before you can take the medicine. How about rice porridge? That's a good idea. Okay, I'll make it right away. Lie down for a bit, okay? Yeah. I'm back. Itaru came back from the drugstore a while later. I'm so tired. He was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're only exhausted because you never exercised, she thought to herself. But for some reason the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head. Thanks, Daru. I thought that said Dad for a second there, and I was freaked out. Thanks, Daru. I'm about to make rice I keep messing up on those lines. First of all, Mayuri said this, so of course she wouldn't call Daru Dad. Second of all, I thought though it said Dad for a second of all, and third of all, it says Mayuri. That was just a bunch of rambling. Thanks, Daru. I'm about to make rice porridge. Once she has that, give her the I feel like I keep messing up. Didn't Yuki? Yeah, Yuki said she would make it. Okay, I didn't mess that up. This is a really strange scene. Once she has that, give her the medicine. Okie dokie. Like father, like daughter. Itaru walked over to Zua as he answered. How are you feeling? Not so good. I guess all that stress caught up with you. I've never actually seen you take a break. This is really pathetic. Maybe I shouldn't stay here. What? I've been getting lazy. You're here, Dad, and Big Sis Mayu is here, and Big Sis Rumi. And then at some point, even Mom showed up. Don't say that, like, too loud. Because of that, sometimes I feel like I'm going to forget my mission. It starts to feel like this happy time is going to continue forever. And I find myself thinking that maybe there'll never be a war. I start to fantasize about living like a normal girl. And what's wrong with that? When Daru spoke, his face was actually serious for once, and he was looking straight into Suzua's eyes. It was the face of the father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her. So you're going to leave this place, and where are you going to go? Well, inside the time machine or something. You know you can't stay in there, right? But you know I can't leave my daughter there, right? Dad, don't say it too loud. For a moment, Suzuo was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then... whoops! Accidentally gave a serious response. Anyway, I like being around cute girls, and I look forward to going sniff-stiff when you're not looking. I especially like girls who are all sick and sweaty. Stop it. So you ought to get better soon if you don't want me panting all over you. Yeah. Suzuo whispered back a response, then turned away from Itaru and pulled the blanket closer. Oh, did my little speech just solve your problem? Did I get bonus affection points? If you keep being stupid, I'll make you regret it when I do get better. Are you going to put on boots and step on me or something like that? I'm going to stick things under your fingernails. Ow. I think I just skipped a line. Please don't. Anything but that. Sorry. She could smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen. Listen, Sua, would you tell me what it is you're looking for every day? Oh my gosh, cats! Oh my goodness. Calm down. Whew. I might be able to help with it. Later. I'll tell you once we're done. Once we're alone. Oh yeah, that's fine, but it's not something I can let Big Sis Mayu hear. Huh? Oh, yeah. I was like, why Mayu? Of course. Yeah, there was no way she could tell Mayuri. Three days later. Oh, geez, 3 days. Well, you know what, guys? With that, I think I'm gonna end this episode here. This was super intense. I'm kind of not sure. I kind of need a little bit of time to process all this. Actually, we should check some tips first. Valley of Hinnom. The name of a valley in eastern Israel on the south side of the old city district of Jerusalem. The valley was once where impure garbage and executed prisoners were disposed of, and it was always filled with fires, black smoke, and a horrible stench. It was also where human sacrifices were offered to Moloch, and so was feared and avoided by the people. The sight of this valley, constantly burning with unholy fires, became linked in people's minds with the idea of hell. Later, Gehenna would become a symbol of hell. The Hebrew root word was Gehinnom, which became the Greek Gehenna, and later the English Gehenna. Okay, this is also why the flames that burn in hell are sometimes known as the flames of Gehenna. There's a lot of Gehenna. Superficial temporal artery, an artery located at the terminal branch of the external carotid artery. Oh my goodness, cats. Shh. Oh, come on. Calm down. It travels from the neck to the head between the temples and ears. It supplies blood to the skin, ears, and jaw points. Duh, an expression used to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back at least 200 years. Calm down. Calm down. Hello. Yes, hello. I love you too. Calm down. Sniff, sniff. Onomatopoeia used to describe the act of smelling something, often used in manga and on the internet. A famous phrase of perverted gentlemen. Its origins are unclear, but its use has been seen as far back as a popular comic during the early 1980s. Serious response. Net slang, the act of responding seriously to a post without joking around or posting memes. Alright. Well, anyways, this has been a cool episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Pokey. This has been Steins Gate 0. And I'll see you guys later. Bye! You calm down, cats. Sheesh. Bye.